Greetings, people of the internet. This is Cardiacs, and I actually have another video out. Woohoo! Didn't expect to have one out this soon after the last one. Part of the reason for that was because a dear friend of mine said that she wanted to see the video for this, so I kind of pushed away what else I had planned and decided to fast track this one. This is also a prompt list that said friend also gave me, so on the screen you can see a reference picture that I am not necessarily copying, but I am definitely getting pretty close to it. There's also a couple of other things, like a phrase and a color palette. Something like this I definitely wouldn't have been able to come up with on my own, but that's the main reason why I asked my friend to start doing this for me. It forces me to get out of my comfort zone, and I end up learning a lot more than I would have if I just kept drawing the same things over and over again. So, the new things in this illustration that is new to me, at least relatively, would be the fact that it's a man that I'm drawing and not a female, because, you know, I always draw women. I just find it the most fun. But this piece also helped me to realize that I don't have to have a very strict shape for the male form when I'm drawing them. So that gives me a bit of encouragement, because I always want to draw men in a less feminine shape. Like, women are, not always, but often have an hourglass-ish shape, in that the chest area is usually a little bit wider, and the hip area is usually a little bit wider than the waist area. That seems to be relatively true for men as well, it's just not as obvious. And the chest area is usually a bit more obvious? A little more structured? I don't know exactly how to describe it, but you know, it's interesting finding the differences and the similarities between the general male shape as opposed to the general female shape. Of course, the body types will vary. There, that's the word. And beyond that, there's also the color palette. It's a very monochrome type of scheme. I'm trying. In that most of the colors are relatively red and related closely, like the very desaturated, almost purple kind of gray tone that I used for this man's shirt. And then the majority of them are different levels of red. There, I think, also is a little bit more of a yellowish color, and or a kind of pale yellow that reads more so as a pale green. But it looks a lot more like a white. It's not, but it's very close. Then there's also a very pale blue. And since the color scheme was so alike, I wanted the very the different colors to be in more subtle places. So I used the very pale green-ish color to be the shading on the hood of the car this guy is sitting on, and the very pale blue ended up being his eye color. Let me know down below. Did you actually notice? I think I might have put the blue on his eyes by now. Not sure. Anyway, one of the prompts was also a phrase, and it had something to do with memory lane. I ended up taking that to be pretty literal because I decided that the buildings behind him should be named based on places that he may have been to before and would have had memories of. So behind him, of course, is a building named Camp, and the CH beside it is meant to be the end of the word church. So I liked the idea of it, basically, for each building to be kind of a portal to the memories he may have experienced growing up, and up to the point where he's just leisurely sitting on this car. I do hope that you guys enjoyed watching this, and let me know if you liked how slower this video was. I thought about making it a lot shorter, but the video comes from my tablet, and the recording seems to already shorten itself in that it makes it speed up. So that means I don't have to speed it up very much in editing. Thanks for watching.